And good Thursday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. 68 as you begin your day. Now, there's going to be a few clouds as we get today started. I'd like to say it'd be cooler, but I'd be telling a fib, wouldn't I? High of about 89. Now, the weekend is already shaping up to show warmer signs, up to 93 by Sunday. So the hot spell is not over. We'll get into the breakdown here in just a little bit. October will arrive over the weekend. Are y'all ready for that? Man, it'll be here before you know it. Weekend is upon us. There'll be a lot of things to do as well. Your events will be perfect. The weather couldn't be better no matter what you have planned for the weekend. Just expect it to be a little bit on the warm side. It's not going to be as cool as we would like it. Let's turn that down where we can hear. Monitors everywhere in the background. Got to know what's happening around us. Jerome Lee, good morning. Good to see you there. Miss Jean Ulmer is up. Shayna, Robert David, how are you doing today? So many of you up. Good to see you. Let's get into a good word as we go out to Collinsville. We'll be right back with some news headlines of what's shaping America this morning.
The Apostle Paul had a great passion to see those Jews who had rejected Christ come to faith in Christ. His life was totally transformed, and now he was called and committed to taking the gospel to the Gentiles. In Romans chapter 11, verse 11, he says, "So I ask, did they stumble in order that they might fall? By no means. Rather, through their trespass, salvation has come to the Gentiles, so as to make Israel jealous." Paul knew how putting his faith in Christ had transformed his life, and he wanted the Jews to want what he and other Christ followers had in Christ. Could it be that seeing that salvation had come to the Gentiles would make the Jews jealous to the point that they too would want to be saved? Pastor Tony Merida calls this gospel jealousy. Believers today can learn from this. When those who are lost look into our lives, do they see the joy that only knowing Christ can bring? Do they see the genuine love for God and others? Do they see the presence of God in our lives that helps distinguish us from everybody else? Are we getting so much joy and pleasure from knowing Christ that some in the lost world would look at us and say, "I want in on that. I want what you have." Like the Apostle Paul, may we have a passion to take the gospel to those who are lost, and may our lives lead the lost to have a gospel jealousy and respond to the gospel in faith. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back. Right now, 68 degrees as you're getting that day started there. Be careful, no matter where you go. We'll tell you some incidents that happened yesterday, or accidents that happened on local Mississippi highways. Had some rough ones yesterday, so y'all be careful. We'll tell you about that coming up at 7 o'clock as well. Also, don't forget to tune in. John Mark will be here, the Superintendent of Education of Lauderdale County, for our next round of meetings that will be held at West Lauderdale Elementary tonight. Odie and I will be there. The team will be there to bring this to you live tonight, so you can hear what's going on the west side of the county. If you've got questions, you'll be able to see all of that tonight. And we do this because we all realize it's a hectic world we live in. You can't be everywhere you need to be, but you can watch it on your phone. We'll bring it to you live coming up tonight. Won't you join us? I hope so. As we start looking at things that are happening across America, and you may already know this came out earlier in the week, and we've been so busy I didn't bring it up. If you own a Kia, a Hyundai, they have recalled, and this is a heap of them. Scary how many are out there. 3.37 million vehicles in the U.S. over fire risk. They're calling them back. Don't park it in your garage. See the list. It's all out there. Call your local dealer if you own one to make sure yours is not a part of this. Elon Musk continues to upset the left as he has done the takeover of Twitter, which is now has the symbol X. I almost feel like it's a Prince thing. But whatever the case is, if you will remember the disinformation groups that each one of these, like Facebook, YouTube, and all of them have, and if you cross a line that they consider, they cut you off for a few days or whatnot. Well, he's making a statement on this. He's cutting the team that does that. Won't be near as many of them tackling that. We'll see what becomes of it. This is scary. We hope this is not the trend of something. We don't know all the details. But as we go to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania this morning, a hotel room. Now, this is almost like one of those, a movie to some degree. A flight attendant has been found deceased in her hotel room with a cloth in her mouth. We certainly hope this is not the trend of some type of serial killer that has taken place. As more details come out on this, as many of you watch, you've got friends that fly, make sure that they are watching their back no matter where they go. There's bad folks in this world, and they pick on certain industries. That is the first. I don't want anybody to get scared over that, but it's not good, whatever went wrong there. Today, it begins. Maybe you agree with it, maybe you don't. It's not going to do any good either way, but hearings start today for the impeachment process of Biden. If they are successful, Harris would be your president. I don't think many believe that it will actually happen. It's just a show to say, look what we did. We'll let you know. New Orleans, Louisiana. If you're in that area this morning or travel there, work there, look out. The lack of water on the shelves. Well, why would that be happening? It's being snatched off the shelves left and right, as the emergency management team has warned that a declaration has now been signed, the saltwater intrusion. It's going to be affecting the drinking water coming in from the have you heard about all this, Odie?
Gulf, yeah.
Yeah, from the Gulf. And as soon as water hits shelves, they're lined up grabbing it. Right now, it's a limit of 10 cases. That's probably going to be cut down over the next little bit. The lack of water, so if you start seeing less here, it's being shipped in that direction in New Orleans. I didn't even realize that till earlier this morning as I started looking around at what's going on. Who was declared the winner last night? See, most of you are going, what are you talking about? That's what it meant to America. What am I talking about? Yep, they had another presidential debate last night. And you're right, it didn't matter. Let's see who was wrong and who was right. Fox News is declaring Ron DeSantis the winner. As we go to the next poll, Dana Perrin, how do you pronounce her name? Dana Perrinet. She's the lady from that always has pictures of her dog. It used to be Jasper, and then it passed. Love her to death. She was honest about it. She goes, look, why are y'all even here? It doesn't matter. And they're right. The winner was Donald Trump by a landslide last night. As we look at this, they can fight, they can bicker, they can do what they want, but none of them won. Fox News is totally wrong on this. He won and never showed up. They're all living in the shadow of Trump on this, and it doesn't matter what they do. She asked them, what are you going to do? They would not answer that. Let's see here. Ron, in an effort to try to get his name up there, keeps challenging Trump to a special debate between just those two. And Trump is right. Why even acknowledge that they exist? Because it does not matter. Sometimes you can win by not doing anything. Sometimes that is the correct answer, and that's where we are on this as we look at this. The Senate has gotten together, and I'm glad they finally pulled. This was bipartisan. Bipartisan. I ain't even going to say it. Y'all know what I mean. I can't get it out this morning. As we saw the dress code that was very much lightened last week, Joe Manchin, y'all know him from West Virginia. He's listed as a Democrat. It doesn't matter what side of the alley he's on. He usually is a straight shooting, talking guy. He led the committee and said, we've got to stop this. We cannot have people in the Senate floor dressed in a hoodie. Overwhelmingly, they vote yesterday to repeal this that Schumer had put into action. Both aisles came together, and yep, if you're a man and you step on that Senate floor, you got to have a coat and tie and slacks. No longer will he be able to show up and look, well, y'all know what I mean. There's a word for it, and we'll stay away from it. But it just did not look good for the greatest nation in the world to have somebody look like they just rolled out to go get the paper out of the mailbox representing the world. We can't have that. They have taken care of that now. If they had let this happen, y'all know where I'm going with this. Everything else in America has been lightened up. People are getting jobs that are not qualified for it because, well, that wasn't fair. Yeah, do that with an airplane pilot. Start loosening that stuff and see how well you like that at 30,000 feet when they don't know what to do. That's an extreme example, but that will happen one day as we keep laxing things and passing people to make them feel good. We got to get a grip on things in America. No word yet from John what he'll be wearing to the next one, but if he shows up, he's supposed to have it all there together. Let's see here. Who else is doing what this morning? Fox News has exiled Tucker Carlson and also Bill O'Reilly. It made them so mad. They got together and had a talk show together. Had done wonderful. Like Bill or not, he is a pompous, and y'all know the other word that goes with that. He was good at what he did. He is just not the type of fellow that I'd like to go to the deer camp with or go anywhere with. He's just rude. But he does know news, and he did it well. I'll give him credit. There's people that are movie actors that I don't like very well, but they do a great job acting. And I'll give him that. I think most people like, if you're on the Republican side, like Tucker. He kind of shoots from the hip, tells it how it is. Now, I've seen this a lot, and then we'll go on to the weather after this. People who have pets with what they call, what do you call it, Odie, when you have a pet, when if you're nervous, a little dog that calms you down. I forget what the word is. There's a word for it that is given out. They even make little cards that they give you to carry that pet into places. Emotional support animals. Well, this guy showed up with his alligator on a leash, and they said, no, thank you. You cannot come in with your alligator, even though he does help you fight depression.
Because he eats his complaints.
Yeah, he eats his complaints. I mean, really, time to grow up, America. It really is. We'll be right back. We're going to get into your forecast here in just a moment. The things that go on. Have mercy.
The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
As everybody was answering, Brandy was one of the first there. Therapy animal, service animal, therapy dogs, service dog. Vivian, thank you so much. And I just, for whatever reason, couldn't get that out of my mouth. It was in my brain, but I couldn't pull it out. Sometimes we have those. Let's get into our forecast now.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Record highs, record lows. As we look at this, here we are. Today's record high was set in 1953 with a high of 96. The record low was set in 67, 56 years ago, at a low of 41. What a cool day that was. As we glance across, here's today, 89 in Meridian is what we'll get. 90 in Philadelphia, warmer for you folks, even in Eupora. As we look at Columbus Air Force Base, still holding steady with Meridian on the eastern side. But as we get near that Mississippi River, it gets hot. The Delta, 94, Yazoo, Vicksburg, 94, even Natchez at 93. So it's a hot day, and a few clouds will be out the area there. As we move toward Bama, a little bit cooler there. We should see 88, 87 around Livingston. We'll see 84 in Birmingham. Even Gadsden hits a cool 83. As we look at this, there's no end in sight for this. Tennessee, a little bit warmer than Mississippi as we look at the outlook on this. But all of this comes from Texas and makes its way across Dixie this morning. It's going to be a hot one as we look at this. Our 7-day forecast calls for 89 here. Now, look at the weekend. 91 tomorrow, 92 Saturday. I've even seen it forecasted to hit 93 from the National Weather Service on Sunday. It depends on what happens, but we're holding steady at 90 as we move into October 1st. Woo! It's hot for those days. And the outlook all the way through October the 12th, it will be, look at this, we see the change somewhere around the 8th of October. That is what I would call the perfect weather. High of about 83, holding steady at 82. And by the 11th of the month, we're at 80. That is, in my opinion, that perfect weather. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. You can wear a short sleeve. Yeah. A lot of folks enjoy just wearing a jacket. Depends on how much blood thinner you're on, I think. But
80 is kind of like what I call the ideal weather for us. So y'all be ready. Starting somewhere around Sunday the 8th, temperatures will get right in the state of Mississippi. I'm looking forward to it. Let's look at the hurricane situation. We've still got another month left on this. As we pull this up from the National Hurricane Center, we got a 90% chance that this storm here will develop into something. Philippi, however you pronounce him, is still a tropical storm moving along at 52 miles an hour. Those millibars at 1,002. No threat yet as he sits there. We'll watch that as well. Again, this will run through November 1, and then we switch to the nasty outlook, which will be tornadic activity as we'll roll into our second season of that here in the Deep South. What is the outlook for fishing? Well, Chet tells us, grab your rod and reel and be ready. 11 o'clock today is the time to be there. 11 until 1 should be the perfect time. Oh, you can fish till 1:30. It'll be okay. Now, wrapping it up now, we had a time right before daylight that was good as well. The wind, pretty nice there. East wind at 5 to 10 miles an hour. You can't complain about that at all. We are sitting at a quarter till in a few moments. As we said, the Superintendent of Education for Lauderdale County will be in. John Mark joins us again for more questions. If you've got a question, be ready. All this begins at 7 o'clock. Put those in your comments. We'll answer as many as we can. And then, of course, tonight we will be back on the road as we'll head out to West Lauderdale Elementary there to bring you the latest on this. The CTE meeting is what we're talking about. Do you want this? It's I think everybody that's on both sides of this agree that it would be great for the kids. The controversy lies in how much money is being spent. It's up to y'all. The questions, it all comes up this morning at 7 o'clock. Don't miss out. Myself, along with Odie, will be here. And, well, you. That's what makes it happen every single day. Right now, it's 68 as we start this day. Good morning, Harvey. Miss Arlene is there. So many of you. We look forward to sharing our morning with you. Grab an extra cup of coffee. You might need it. I know I am. I'm getting ready to head to the coffee pot. We'll see you in just a moment at 7 as we kick off your day.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.